The best advice you will ignore anyway. Written and published by Cloudy Library. You can find ebook version below, and feel free to subscribe for more content. Now, let's get into the book. Introduction. We humans are a peculiar bunch. We're capable of incredible feats of ingenuity, compassion, and resilience. Yet, we're also masters of self-sabotage, particularly when it comes to worrying about things beyond our control. If you're holding this book, chances are you're intimately familiar with this paradox. Welcome to the best advice you will ignore anyway, a guide to recognizing our most stubborn habits and, hopefully, breaking free from them. From the dawn of civilization, humans have sought to exert control over their environment. We've built shelters to protect us from the elements, developed medicines to combat disease, and created intricate social systems to bring order to our lives. This drive has led to remarkable progress, but it's also instilled in us a false sense of omnipotence. We've convinced ourselves that with enough effort, we can bend the universe to our will. The reality, of course, is far different. Despite our best efforts, we remain at the mercy of countless forces beyond our influence. The weather doesn't care about our outdoor plans. The stock market isn't concerned with our financial worries. And try as we might, we can't control how others think, feel, or act. Yet we persist in our attempts, expending precious mental and emotional energy on fruitless endeavors. What's truly ironic is that most of us know this, at least on an intellectual level. We've heard the advice countless times: don't sweat the small stuff, let go and let God, control what you can, accept what you can't. We nod in agreement, maybe even dispense this wisdom to others. But when it comes to applying it to our own lives, that's where things get tricky. This book isn't about dispensing new, groundbreaking advice. Chances are, you've heard most of what we'll discuss before. Instead, our goal is to shine a spotlight on the areas where we most often waste our energy and provide practical strategies for redirecting that energy towards things that truly matter. In the pages that follow, we'll explore the psychology behind our need for control, examine the toll it takes on our mental and physical well-being, and offer techniques for cultivating acceptance. We'll look at how to identify the areas where we can make a genuine impact and develop a proactive mindset that focuses on solutions rather than problems. Will you implement every suggestion in this book? Probably not. Remember the title? But by becoming more aware of our tendencies and having concrete strategies at our disposal, we can start to make small shifts in our thinking and behavior. Over time, these small shifts can lead to significant changes in how we approach life's challenges. So, as we embark on this journey together, I invite you to approach these pages with an open mind and a healthy dose of self-compassion. Recognize that change is a process, not an event. And remember, even if you only implement a fraction of what you read here, you'll be taking steps towards a more peaceful, focused, and fulfilling life. Let's begin by examining the illusion of control that keeps us trapped in cycles of worry and frustration. Are you ready to see how deep the rabbit hole goes? Chapter 1. The Illusion of Control. As human beings, we have an innate desire to feel in control of our lives and our surroundings. This desire has driven us to achieve remarkable feats throughout history, from building towering skyscrapers to exploring the depths of space. Our ability to manipulate our environment and shape our destinies has been crucial to our survival and progress as a species. However, this same drive can also lead us astray, causing us to expend vast amounts of energy trying to control things that are fundamentally beyond our influence. The illusion of control is a powerful psychological phenomenon that affects us all to varying degrees. It's the belief that we have more influence over events than we actually do. This illusion can be comforting in a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, but it can also be a source of immense stress and frustration when reality fails to align with our expectations. To understand why we cling so tightly to this illusion, we need to delve into the psychology behind our need for control. At its core, this need is rooted in our survival instincts. In our evolutionary past, having control over our environment, knowing where to find food, how to build shelter, and how to avoid predators was essential for staying alive. This hardwired need for control has persisted even as our environments have become safer and more predictable. Moreover, the feeling of control is closely linked to our sense of self-efficacy, our belief in our ability to influence outcomes and achieve our goals. When we feel in control, we tend to be more motivated, resilient, and optimistic. Conversely, feeling out of control can lead to anxiety, depression, and a sense of helplessness. It's no wonder, then, that we go to great lengths to maintain the illusion of control, even in situations where our influence is minimal at best. One of the most common areas where we overestimate our influence is in predicting and controlling the weather. How many times have you obsessively checked the forecast before a planned outdoor event, as if your vigilance could somehow ward off rain? Or perhaps you found yourself bargaining with the universe, promising to be a better person if only the sun would come out for your picnic. While these behaviors might seem harmless, they reflect our deep-seated belief that through sheer force of will, we can influence forces far beyond our control. Natural disasters provide an even more stark example of our powerlessness in the face of nature. Yet even here, we often engage in magical thinking. We might convince ourselves that if we prepare meticulously enough, we can somehow prevent disaster from striking. While preparation is certainly prudent, it's important to recognize the line between reasonable precautions and the illusion of total control. Another realm where we frequently overestimate our influence is in our interactions with others. We like to believe that if we choose our words carefully enough or present our arguments persuasively enough, we can control how others think, feel, or act. Parents may think they can shape their children into exactly the people they want them to be. Employees might believe they can change their boss's mind through sheer persistence. Friends might think they can fix someone struggling with addiction or mental health issues. While our actions and words certainly can influence others, the reality is that we have far less control over other people's thoughts, feelings, and behaviors than we'd like to believe. Each person is on their own journey, shaped by a complex interplay of genetics, experiences, and personal choices. Recognizing the limits of our influence in this area can be both humbling and liberating. On a broader scale, many of us expend significant mental and emotional energy worrying about global events and politics. We might obsessively follow the news, engage in heated debates on social media, or lie awake at night fretting about the state of the world. While staying informed and engaged in civic life is important, it's crucial to recognize the limited impact that most individuals have on large-scale events and policies. This is not to say that individual actions don't matter. They absolutely do. But it's important to maintain perspective on the scope of our influence. Voting, volunteering, and advocating for causes we believe in are all valuable ways to contribute. However, believing that we can single-handedly control the outcome of a national election or solve complex global issues like climate change or geopolitical conflicts is a recipe for frustration and burnout. The toll of trying to control the uncontrollable can be significant. Mentally and emotionally, it can lead to chronic stress, anxiety, and feelings of inadequacy or failure when things don't go as we hoped. We might find ourselves constantly on edge, always waiting for the other shoe to drop. This hypervigilance can make it difficult to relax and enjoy life's moments, as we're always scanning the horizon for potential threats or problems to solve. Physically, the stress of trying to control everything can manifest in a variety of ways. Chronic tension can lead to headaches, muscle pain, and digestive issues. The constant state of alertness can disrupt our sleep patterns, leading to fatigue and a weakened immune system. Over time, chronic stress can contribute to more serious health problems, including heart disease and autoimmune disorders. Beyond the personal toll, our attempts to control the uncontrollable often result in wasted time and resources. Think about how much time you've spent worrying about things you can't change, replaying past events in your mind, imagining worst-case scenarios for the future, or plotting elaborate strategies for unlikely contingencies. Now imagine what you could have accomplished if you directed that energy towards things you can actually influence. So how can we begin to recognize and accept our limitations? The first step is developing awareness. Start paying attention to where your thoughts and energy are directed throughout the day. Are you spending a disproportionate amount of time worrying about things beyond your control? Are you expending effort trying to change situations or people that have shown no signs of changing? Once you've identified areas where you might be overestimating your control, the next step is to challenge these thoughts. Ask yourself, is this something I can realistically influence? If not, what purpose does worrying about it serve? This doesn't mean you should become apathetic or disengaged. Rather, it's about redirecting your energy towards areas where you can have a meaningful impact. Another helpful strategy is to practice distinguishing between influence and control. While there are many things we can't control, we often have more influence than we realize. For example, you can't control whether you get the job you applied for, but you can influence the outcome by preparing thoroughly for the interview and presenting yourself professionally. Recognizing the difference between influence and control can help us focus our efforts more effectively. It's also important to cultivate a sense of humility and perspective. Remind yourself regularly of the vastness and complexity of the universe. Consider how many factors beyond your knowledge or influence contribute to any given situation. This doesn't mean you should feel small or insignificant. Rather, it can be liberating to recognize that not everything depends on you. Embracing uncertainty is another key aspect of letting go of the illusion of control. Our desire for control often stems from a fear of the unknown. By learning to see uncertainty as a natural and even exciting part of life, we can reduce our need to control everything. This might involve practicing mindfulness techniques to stay present in the moment, rather than constantly trying to predict and control the future. Finally, it can be helpful to reframe our understanding of what it means to be in control. True control doesn't come from manipulating external circumstances, but from managing our own responses to those circumstances. By focusing on our own thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors, the things we can actually control, we can develop a more grounded and resilient approach to life's challenges. As we conclude this chapter, it's important to acknowledge that letting go of the illusion of control is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. There will always be situations that trigger our desire for control, and that's okay. The goal is not to eliminate this desire entirely, but to develop a more balanced and realistic approach to navigating life's uncertainties. In the next chapter, we'll explore practical techniques for cultivating acceptance and learning the art of letting go. Remember, recognizing the illusion of control is the first step towards freeing yourself from its grip. As you move forward, try to catch yourself when you're slipping into old patterns of trying to control the uncontrollable. With practice and patience, you can learn to channel your energy more effectively and find greater peace in accepting life's inherent unpredictability. Chapter 2. The Art of Letting Go. Having explored the illusion of control and its impact on our lives, we now turn to the challenging yet liberating practice of letting go. The art of letting go is not about resignation or passivity. Rather, it's about consciously choosing where to focus our energy and accepting what we cannot change. This shift in perspective can lead to profound changes in our mental and emotional well-being, as well as in our relationships and overall life satisfaction. At its core, letting go is about surrendering our need to control outcomes that are beyond our influence. This surrender can feel counterintuitive, even frightening, at first. We've been conditioned to believe that letting go means giving up or admitting defeat. However, true surrender is an act of strength and wisdom. It requires us to trust in our ability to handle whatever comes our way, rather than trying to micromanage every aspect of our lives and the world around us. One of the most immediate benefits of letting go is a reduction in stress and anxiety. When we stop trying to control everything, we free ourselves from the constant worry about potential outcomes. Think about how much mental energy you expend on a daily basis fretting about things that might happen or replaying past events you wish had gone differently. Now imagine redirecting all that energy towards the present moment and the things you can actually influence. The sense of relief can be palpable. Letting go also allows us to improve our focus on what truly matters. When we're not constantly distracted by attempts to control the uncontrollable, we can devote more attention to our goals, relationships, and personal growth. This increased focus can lead to greater productivity and a deeper sense of fulfillment in our daily lives. Instead of spreading ourselves thin trying to manage every aspect of our existence, we can channel our efforts into the areas where we can make a real difference. Perhaps one of the most valuable benefits of letting go is enhanced resilience and adaptability. When we're not rigidly attached to specific outcomes, we become more flexible in the face of change and adversity. Life is inherently unpredictable, and those who can adapt quickly to new circumstances tend to thrive. By practicing the art of letting go, we cultivate a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to our control. So how do we begin to cultivate this practice of letting go? One powerful technique is mindfulness meditation. At its essence, mindfulness is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. By regularly practicing mindfulness, we can learn to observe our thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. This creates a space between stimulus and response, allowing us to choose how we react to situations rather than responding automatically. To start a mindfulness practice, you don't need any special equipment or extensive training. Begin by setting aside a few minutes each day to sit quietly and focus on your breath. As thoughts arise, and they will, simply acknowledge them and gently return your attention to your breathing. Over time, you may find that this practice helps you become more aware of your thought patterns and less reactive to external circumstances. Another powerful technique for letting go is cognitive restructuring. This involves identifying and challenging the thoughts and beliefs that keep us stuck in patterns of trying to control the uncontrollable. For example, you might notice a thought like, "If I don't worry about this, something terrible will happen." Once you've identified this thought, you can challenge it by asking yourself questions like, "Is this thought based on fact or feeling? What evidence do I have to support or refute this belief? What would I say to a friend who had this thought?" By regularly practicing cognitive restructuring, we can begin to shift our thought patterns in a more balanced and realistic direction. This doesn't mean adopting a blindly optimistic view of the world, but rather developing a more nuanced understanding of what we can and cannot control. Gratitude practices can also be incredibly helpful in the process of letting go. When we focus on what we're grateful for, we shift our attention away from what we think is lacking or what we wish we could control. Try keeping a gratitude journal where you write down 3 things you're thankful for each day. These can be big things, like good health or a loving family, or small pleasures, like a delicious cup of coffee or a beautiful sunset. As you cultivate this practice, you may find that you naturally begin to focus more on the positive aspects of your life rather than fixating on what you can't control. This shift in focus can lead to greater contentment and a reduced need to control every aspect of your environment. To illustrate the power of letting go, let's consider a few case studies of individuals who have mastered this art. Take Sarah, a high-powered executive who used to micromanage every aspect of her team's work. She found herself constantly stressed, working long hours, and struggling with high employee turnover. After learning about the art of letting go, Sarah made a conscious effort to delegate more and trust her team members. Initially, this was incredibly challenging for her, but over time, she found that her team became more engaged and productive. Moreover, Sarah's own stress levels decreased dramatically, and she found more time to focus on strategic planning and her own professional development. Another example is Michael, who spent years trying to control his adult son's lifestyle choices. Michael's attempts to influence his son's career path, relationships, and personal habits led to constant conflict and a strained relationship. It wasn't until Michael learned to let go of his need for control that their relationship began to heal. By accepting his son for who he was and focusing on enjoying their time together rather than trying to change him, Michael found a new level of closeness with his son that he had never experienced before. These stories highlight an important truth. Letting go often leads to better outcomes than our attempts at control ever could. When we release our grip on trying to manipulate every situation, we create space for organic growth and positive change. Of course, the art of letting go is not something we master overnight. It's a practice that requires consistent effort and patience. One practical exercise you can try is the worry box technique. Get a small box or container and some slips of paper. Whenever you find yourself worrying about something beyond your control, write it down on a slip of paper and put it in the box. This physical act of letting go of the worry can be surprisingly powerful. At the end of each week, review the slips. You may find that many of the things you worried about never came to pass, or that they resolved themselves without your intervention. Another helpful practice is to regularly ask yourself, is this within my control? When faced with a challenging situation or a worry that won't let go, pause and consciously consider whether it's something you can actually influence. If it's not, remind yourself to redirect your energy towards things you can control, like your own actions and reactions. It can also be beneficial to practice letting go in small, low-stakes situations before tackling bigger issues. For example, you might practice letting go of the need to control the outcome of a board game, or resist the urge to backseat drive when someone else is at the wheel. These small exercises can help build your letting go muscles and make it easier to apply the practice in more significant areas of your life. As you work on cultivating the art of letting go, it's important to be patient and compassionate with yourself. There will be times when you slip back into old patterns of trying to control everything. When this happens, don't beat yourself up. Simply acknowledge what's happening, take a deep breath, and gently remind yourself to let go. Remember, too, that letting go doesn't mean becoming passive or apathetic. It's about consciously choosing where to focus your energy and accepting what you cannot change. You can still set goals, work hard, and strive for excellence. The difference is that you do so with an understanding of what's within your control and what isn't. In our fast-paced, achievement-oriented society, the art of letting go can feel countercultural. We're often praised for our ability to make things happen and overcome obstacles. While these qualities certainly have their place, there's also immense value in knowing when to step back and allow things to unfold naturally. I invite you to reflect on areas of your life where you might benefit from practicing the art of letting go. Are there situations where your attempts at control are causing more stress than they're worth? Are there relationships that might improve if you loosened your grip a little? What might change in your life if you redirected the energy you currently spend on trying to control the uncontrollable? In the next chapter, we'll explore how to channel our energy into areas where we can have a genuine impact, creating meaningful change in our lives and the world around us. As you move forward, remember that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your wisdom and strength. It's about trusting in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way, rather than trying to orchestrate every detail of your existence. The art of letting go is a lifelong practice, one that can lead to greater peace, fulfillment, and resilience. As you continue on this journey, be kind to yourself, celebrate your progress, and remain open to the unexpected gifts that can arise when we release our need for control. Chapter 3. Redirecting energy to what matters. Now that we've explored the illusion of control and the art of letting go, it's time to focus on where we can truly make a difference. This chapter is about redirecting our energy towards areas where we have genuine impact, setting realistic goals, and developing a proactive mindset that empowers us to create meaningful change in our lives and the world around us. The first step in this process is identifying the areas where we have real influence. While it's true that there are many things beyond our control, there are also numerous aspects of our lives where our actions and choices can make a significant difference. One of the most potent areas for impact is our own personal growth and self-improvement. Unlike external circumstances or other people's behaviors, we have direct control over our own actions, thoughts, and attitudes. Consider the vast potential for change that lies within your own personal development. You have the power to learn new skills, cultivate positive habits, challenge your own beliefs and assumptions, and work on becoming the best version of yourself. This isn't about striving for perfection or adhering to societal standards of success. Rather, it's about identifying what truly matters to you and taking consistent steps towards embodying those values and aspirations. For instance, if you value creativity, you might commit to a daily practice of writing, painting, or playing music. If physical health is important to you, you could focus on developing a sustainable exercise routine and healthy eating habits. If you want to expand your knowledge, you might set aside time each day for reading or take online courses in subjects that interest you. The key is to recognize that these areas of personal growth are entirely within your sphere of influence. Another area where we can have significant impact is in our immediate relationships and community. While we can't control how others think or feel, we can choose how we show up in our interactions with family, friends, colleagues, and neighbors. By focusing on being present, listening actively, showing empathy, and communicating clearly, we can nurture stronger, more fulfilling relationships. Moreover, our actions within our local community can create ripple effects that extend far beyond our immediate circle. Volunteering at a local charity, participating in community events, or simply being a kind and helpful neighbor can contribute to a more positive and cohesive community environment. These actions may seem small in the grand scheme of things, but they can have a profound impact on the lives of those around us and contribute to a larger culture of compassion and mutual support. Our career and personal projects are also areas where we can exert significant influence. While we may not have control over every aspect of our work life, we do have the power to choose how we approach our tasks, interact with colleagues, and pursue professional development opportunities. By focusing on doing our best work, continually learning and improving our skills, and seeking out ways to contribute value to our organization or industry, we can shape our career trajectory and find greater fulfillment in our professional lives. Similarly, personal projects, whether they're creative endeavors, side businesses, or passion projects, offer us a realm where we have a high degree of control and the potential for significant impact. These projects allow us to express our unique talents and interests, potentially creating something of value for others in the process. As we identify these areas of genuine impact, it's crucial to set realistic goals and expectations. One of the pitfalls of our tendency to overestimate our control is that we often set unrealistic goals for ourselves, leading to frustration and disappointment when we inevitably fall short. By setting achievable, specific goals, we set ourselves up for success and create a positive feedback loop that motivates us to continue making progress. When setting goals, it's helpful to use the SMART criteria: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of a vague goal like get in shape, you might set a SMART goal like run a 5K race in under 30 minutes within the next 6 months. This goal is specific, running a 5K, measurable, under 30 minutes, achievable, with consistent training, relevant to your health and fitness, and time-bound, within 6 months. It's also important to break larger goals down into smaller, manageable steps. This not only makes the overall goal feel less overwhelming, but it also allows you to celebrate small victories along the way, maintaining motivation and momentum. Remember, progress is often incremental, and seemingly small actions can accumulate to create significant change over time. As we focus on areas where we have genuine impact and set realistic goals, it's crucial to develop a proactive mindset. This means shifting from a reactive stance, where we're constantly responding to external circumstances, to a proactive approach where we actively shape our experiences and environment. A key aspect of a proactive mindset is focusing on solutions rather than problems. It's easy to get caught up in complaining about what's wrong or dwelling on obstacles. While it's important to acknowledge challenges, a proactive approach involves asking, "What can I do about this?" or "How can I make this situation better?" This solution-oriented thinking empowers us to take action rather than feeling helpless in the face of difficulties. For example, if you're dissatisfied with your current job, a reactive approach might involve complaining about your boss or coworkers and feeling stuck. A proactive approach, on the other hand, might involve identifying specific aspects of your work that you'd like to change, seeking out additional responsibilities that align with your interests, or developing new skills that could open up different career opportunities. Embracing uncertainty as an opportunity is another crucial aspect of a proactive mindset. In our attempts to control everything, we often view uncertainty as a threat. However, uncertainty is also the source of possibility and potential. By reframing uncertainty as an opportunity for growth, learning, and positive change, we can approach life with greater curiosity and openness. This doesn't mean ignoring potential risks or challenges. Rather, it's about maintaining a balanced perspective that acknowledges both the potential difficulties and the potential benefits of uncertain situations. When faced with uncertainty, try asking yourself, what opportunities might this situation present? Or, what could I learn from this experience? As we cultivate this proactive mindset and focus on areas of genuine impact, it's important to create an action plan for meaningful change. This plan should outline specific steps you'll take to work towards your goals, along with a timeline for implementation. Remember, the key to lasting change is consistency. Small, regular actions often lead to more sustainable results than sporadic bursts of intense effort. Your action plan might include daily habits, weekly check-ins, or monthly milestones. For instance, if your goal is to write a book, your plan might involve writing for 30 minutes each day, reviewing your progress weekly, and completing a chapter draft each month. The specifics will depend on your particular goals and circumstances, but the important thing is to have a concrete plan that guides your efforts. As you implement your action plan, it's crucial to celebrate progress and learn from setbacks. Too often, we focus solely on the end goal, overlooking the small victories along the way. By acknowledging and celebrating these incremental successes, we maintain motivation and build confidence in our ability to create change. Equally important is learning from setbacks. It's inevitable that you'll encounter obstacles and failures as you work towards your goals. Instead of viewing these as defeats, try to see them as valuable learning opportunities. Ask yourself what you can take away from the experience and how you might approach things differently next time. This growth-oriented perspective can turn setbacks into stepping stones towards success. Remember, too, that creating meaningful change is often a non-linear process. There will be ups and downs, periods of rapid progress, and times when it feels like you're stuck or even moving backwards. This is all part of the journey. By maintaining a long-term perspective and focusing on overall trends rather than day-to-day fluctuations, you can stay committed to your goals even when faced with temporary setbacks. It's worth reflecting on the profound shift that occurs when we redirect our energy from trying to control the uncontrollable to focusing on areas where we have genuine impact. This shift not only reduces stress and frustration, but also empowers us to create meaningful change in our lives and the world around us. By identifying areas of genuine impact, setting realistic goals, developing a proactive mindset, and creating an action plan for change, we position ourselves to make a real difference. We move from feeling helpless in the face of life's uncertainties to recognizing our own agency and capacity for positive action. This doesn't mean that everything will always go smoothly or that we'll achieve every goal we set. Life will still present challenges, and there will still be many things beyond our control. However, by focusing our energy on what we can influence, we create a sense of purpose and direction that can carry us through even the most difficult times. As you move forward from this chapter, I encourage you to take some time to reflect on where you can have the most meaningful impact in your life. What are the areas where your actions and choices can make a real difference? What goals would you like to set for yourself? How can you cultivate a more proactive mindset in your daily life? Remember, the journey of redirecting your energy and creating meaningful change is ongoing. It requires patience, persistence, and a willingness to learn and adapt along the way. But with each step you take, each small victory you achieve, you're not just improving your own life. You're contributing to a ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond yourself. Conclusion. As we reach the end of our journey through the best advice you will ignore anyway, it's time to reflect on the key insights we've explored and consider how we might apply them in our daily lives. We've delved into the illusion of control that often keeps us trapped in cycles of worry and frustration, explored the liberating art of letting go, and examined how to redirect our energy towards areas where we can make a genuine impact. Throughout this book, we've confronted an uncomfortable truth. Much of the advice we encounter, even when we know it to be sound, often goes unheeded. We cling to our illusions of control, resist letting go, and struggle to focus our efforts where they truly matter. Yet, by acknowledging this tendency, we've taken the first step towards change. Remember, the goal isn't perfection. We're not aiming to completely eliminate our desire for control or to become Zen masters overnight. Instead, we're working towards a more balanced approach to life's challenges, one that recognizes our limitations while also embracing our capacity for meaningful action. The journey begins with awareness. By recognizing the areas where we waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable, we create the opportunity to make different choices. Whether it's worrying about the weather, trying to change other people's opinions, or fretting over global events beyond our influence, simply noticing these patterns is a powerful first step. From awareness, we move to acceptance. Learning to let go isn't about resignation or apathy. It's about wisely choosing where to focus our limited time and energy. Through practices like mindfulness, cognitive restructuring, and gratitude, we can cultivate a greater sense of peace and resilience in the face of life's uncertainties. Finally, we channel our energy into areas where we can have a real impact. By setting realistic goals, developing a proactive mindset, and creating actionable plans, we position ourselves to make meaningful changes in our personal growth, relationships, careers, and communities. As you close this book and return to your daily life, I encourage you to start small. Choose one area where you've been expending energy trying to control the uncontrollable and practice letting go. Identify one goal that's within your sphere of influence and take a small step towards it today. Remember, consistent small actions often lead to the most sustainable and profound changes. Will you implement every suggestion in this book? Probably not. Remember the title? But my hope is that you'll carry with you a greater awareness of where your energy is going and a toolkit for redirecting it more effectively. Even if you only implement a fraction of what we've discussed, you'll be taking steps towards a more peaceful, focused, and fulfilling life. Life will always present challenges and uncertainties. There will always be things beyond our control. But by focusing on what we can influence, by learning to let go of what we can't, and by approaching life with a proactive and growth-oriented mindset, we can navigate these challenges with greater ease and create meaningful change in our lives and the world around us. So, as you move forward from these pages, I invite you to embrace the journey of self-discovery and growth that lies ahead. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your progress, and remember that every moment offers a new opportunity to choose where you focus your energy. The power to shape your experience of life lies not in controlling external circumstances, but in mindfully choosing your response to them. Here's to making choices that truly matter.